Hey, good evening, good night. It is now 2:52 a.m. in the morning, day number 12, Black History Lesson Part number 12. And the topic of the day is Arab slave owners. You heard that correctly, Arab slave owners. Check it. Did you know? Before white people, better known as the European, came to colonize the world, that Arabic people, who the news like to refer to them as Muslims, actually enslaved Africans? Check this out. During the 7th century, the Arabic people, who a lot of people like to call Muslims, conquered and defeated Egypt and took over Egypt, which is why when you meet a lot of Egyptians now, a lot of them are Arabs and they're converted to Islam. Of course, a little information. Islam stands for I, Self, Lord, and Master. That's the acronym of Islam, ISLAM. Anyway, so once the Arabs defeated the Africans of Egypt, they went to conquer North Africa, which Egypt resides in, East Africa, and parts of West Africa. The following countries that are part of West Africa was Northern Senegal, where Akon is from, Ivory Coast, Mali, where the richest black man, or the richest person to ever live, is from, better known as Mansa Musa, and in Nigeria. Yes, and those four nations I mentioned are heavily influenced by the Muslim religion, right? So, after all of this conquering, this was better known as the sub-Saharan slave trade. We have the Atlantic slave trade, and then we have the sub-Saharan slave trade, which came before the slave trade that everybody knows. You know, where everybody says Africans sold Africans to slavery. Yeah, I'm gonna have a video about that. Anywho, so Arabic people, what they did with the African slaves, they sold them off to China, India, Indonesia, and they also sold them to Southwest Asia, right? They forced these African slaves to walk with transported goods, whatever was on their back. They forced them to walk through the desert to get from one end to another to do trades and all that other shit. And of course, you're walking through the desert. Exhaustion is real. Dehydration is real. And you guessed it, a lot of slaves died. Here's another interesting fact about this sub-Saharan desert. I hope a lot of people would like to go to delis in New York City. I hope if you even view this video, it would be nice to be reached across the world. You will actually look at Arabic people a little different. You understand? Not saying all Arabs are bad, but my whole purpose behind this video is real. It's just, it's just informational, educational. Interesting fact, like I said, the term eunuch, EUNUCH, it means a male who's been castrated. Castration means to cut the testicles off. And not only cut the testicles off, Arabic men, they cut off the penis part. And the reason why these Arabic slave masters cut the penis of the African man is due to the fear of the African men having affairs with their women, better known as their wives. The same way slave masters of European descent were afraid of African slaves fornicating and having sex with their women. This is real history. Another interesting fact, African male slaves are worth more than African female slaves. The reason why? Because a female slave happens to go in her period, she cannot produce much work. So her productivity isn't as powerful as a man's productivity because he doesn't have to go through periods. So what was the African female title? They were concubines, which is defined as a woman who's part of a polygamous relationship, but she has a lower status than the wife of the man, and probably a lower status than a mistress, I don't know. So another interesting fact about this sub-Saharan slave trade, African males who were castrated from the ages of 9 to 12 years old. Yes, we're talking about little boys that got their penis and their testicles cut off, were high, and basically they were more valuable than a male slave that had his penis and his testicles attached to his genitals. You know what I'm saying? Who had his genitals not cut off. Sadly, of course, sadly to this Arabic slave master, after the process of getting your penis cut off along with your testicles, there's been a lot of those males who have passed away from that because, the pain is so much that they can't, they die over that. And that was a loss, not a profit nor a gain for the for the Arabic slave master. You understand? It's kind of sad that they don't teach this in our history books, but I see why. You know what I'm saying? I just hope if you watch this video, I don't want to make this video too long, do some research. I don't have no love for Arabic people like that, or anybody that harm my own people. But this is educational information, you understand? I'm gonna put a video, if I could find one on YouTube, and attach it in the description below. It's your boy Jizzle the Prodigy. Peace out and enjoy the rest of your day. Alright, I'm out.